Every story we tell is a journey, a thrilling adventure that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Before we begin, let us know where you're watching from. We love seeing our community come together from all around the world. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Tomorrow, we have a special story just for you. Trust us, you won't want to miss it. See you on the next adventure. The dog lunged, the guard didn't flinch, then everything changed. The morning sun bathed Buckingham Palace in golden light, the last traces of London's famous fog lifting into the sky. The air was filled with the chatter of tourists, the steady click of cameras, and the laughter of children perched on their parents' shoulders. The changing of the guard was about to begin, and as always, the crowd buzzed with anticipation. Amidst the sea of eager spectators, one man stood out, not for his admiration of the ceremony, but for his overconfidence and disregard. Travis Walker, a 36-year-old American tourist, leaned casually against the barrier, a cocky smirk plastered across his face. Standing 6 feet tall with a stocky, muscular build, he carried himself like a man who believed the world was his playground. His black leather jacket, worn and creased, hung open over a plain white t-shirt, while his torn jeans and heavy boots only added to his rebellious look. But it wasn't just Travis who caught attention, it was the dog beside him. A white bull terrier with black patches, muscular and tense, tugged against its thick leather leash, its ears flicking at every sound. 65 pounds of raw power, it shifted restlessly on its paws, sniffing the air, sensing the charged atmosphere. But its owner paid little mind. Travis chuckled, squeezing the leash tightly in one hand while taking a sip from a bottle of soda in the other. "Man, look at these guys," he muttered, his voice dripping with amusement as he gestured toward the royal guards standing at attention. Standing there like statues. Can't even blink, huh? Some in the crowd shot him uneasy glances. A woman whispered to her husband, while a man in sunglasses shook his head. Others, mostly younger tourists, raised their phones, sensing that something out of the ordinary was about to unfold. But Lieutenant Daniel Carter, the 30-year-old Royal Guard, remained still, unshaken. His 6 feet 3 inches frame stood tall in a crisp red uniform, golden buttons gleaming under the sun. The iconic bearskin hat sat high on his head, his face set in absolute focus. His posture never wavered. Yet, as Travis laughed and his dog's growl deepened, something in the air shifted. The moment no one expected was about to unfold. Travis tightened his grip on the leash, feeling the raw energy of the bull terrier pulsing beneath his fingers. The dog was restless, muscles twitching, its sharp eyes locked onto the towering figure of Lieutenant Daniel Carter. The murmurs in the crowd grew louder as people exchanged glances, sensing the tension in the air. Travis grinned, clearly enjoying the attention. He turned toward the nearest phone screen, knowing he was being recorded. This was his moment. "Come on, man," he called out, his voice loud enough to cut through the crowd's whispers. "You guys are supposed to be soldiers, right? But you just stand there, like mannequins. I mean, even my dog thinks you're a joke." A few nervous laughs rippled through the crowd, but most remained silent, eyes darting between Travis, the dog, and the unshaken guard. Lieutenant Carter, his 6 feet 3 inches frame unmoving, remained locked in his disciplined stance. His jaw stayed tight, his gaze fixed forward, as if Travis and his taunts didn't exist. Travis wasn't satisfied. "All right, big guy," he sneered, stepping closer to the barrier, his boots scraping against the pavement. "Let's see if you're as tough as they say." With a sharp tug, he allowed the bull terrier to inch closer. The dog lowered its head, its growl turning into a deep rumble, paws scraping against the ground as it lunged forward slightly, testing the restraint of the leash. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. "Whoa, man, back off," someone called out. A woman in sunglasses pulled her child behind her. A middle-aged man in a blue jacket shook his head, muttering, "This guy has no idea what he's messing with." Travis just laughed, his grip on the leash still firm but looser than before. "What's wrong? You scared?" he taunted, eyes flashing with reckless amusement. He nudged the dog forward again, its teeth flashing in the sunlight as it let out a sharp, eager bark. Still, Carter didn't move. Not a flinch. Not even a blink. But beneath that unshaken exterior, the soldier was fully aware. His muscles were ready, instincts locked in place. He knew men like Travis, arrogant, hungry for a reaction. The guard's unwavering stillness wasn't weakness. It was calculated restraint. And in just a few seconds, Travis was about to learn the hard way what happened when you pushed too far. Travis could feel the adrenaline pumping. The crowd's nervous energy fueled him, and the bull terrier's growl rumbled like a low warning siren. His smirk widened. He had the cameras on him, the attention he craved, and now, he just needed the guard to break. But Lieutenant Daniel Carter didn't budge. His 6 feet 3 inches frame stood like a statue, his red uniform crisp, golden buttons reflecting the light. The towering bearskin hat added to his imposing presence, his expression unreadable, his discipline unshaken. That only pushed Travis further. "Come on, tough guy," he taunted, loosening the leash slightly. The bull terrier, already agitated, lunged forward another step, its paws scraping against the pavement. The crowd gasped. Someone shouted, "Hey! Get that dog under control." Travis laughed, shaking his head. "Relax. It's just a little fun." "Right, big guy," he called toward Carter. "Or are you really just a decoration?" Still, nothing. Travis could feel his control slipping, but he wasn't about to lose the moment. He gripped the leash tighter, then gave it a quick jerk, making the dog snarl loudly, teeth bared, its body tensed and ready. Then, in one reckless motion, he let the leash go slack. Time slowed. The bull terrier exploded forward, a white blur of muscle and instinct. Its jaws snapped open, targeting Lieutenant Carter's leg, aiming for the first point of contact. The crowd erupted in chaos. People screamed, some stumbled backward, trying to get away. Phones were shaking in people's hands, capturing the moment. A woman covered her mouth. A man reached for his phone, dialing frantically. But Carter? He moved. In a flash, the unshakable guard came to life. His stance shifted subtly, his hands snapping into action with the precision of a soldier trained for combat. Before the dog's jaws could sink in, Carter pivoted, quick, sharp, controlled. The bull terrier collided with his boot, snapping its jaws, but it missed its target by inches. The moment that had started as a joke had now become something deadly serious. And in that instant, Travis Walker realized he had made the biggest mistake of his life. The bull terrier's jaws snapped shut, barely missing Lieutenant Carter's leg. The impact sent a ripple of force up the guard's sturdy boot, but his stance remained solid, his training kicking in like second nature. The crowd erupted, a mix of gasps, shouts, and frantic movement as people scrambled back, pushing against each other. A woman screamed, clutching her child, while a man yelled for security. Phones were everywhere, capturing the chaos, the sheer insanity of what was unfolding. But Carter wasn't done. With a sharp, precise motion, he pivoted, his arm moving in a flash. In an instant, his boot came down, firm, controlled, not to harm the dog, but to force it back just enough. The bull terrier yelped, thrown off balance for just a split second. That was all the time he needed. Before the animal could lunge again, 2 Royal Guard officers stormed in, their authoritative presence cutting through the madness. Their black boots hit the pavement hard, their eyes locked onto the unfolding threat. One of them, a tall, broad-shouldered officer, moved swiftly. In one practiced motion, he grabbed the dog's leash, pulling it taut, restraining the animal before it could make another move. The second officer, just as quick, zeroed in on Travis Walker. For the first time, Travis hesitated. The cocky smirk was gone, replaced by something different, panic. "Step away from the barrier," the officer barked, his voice slicing through the noise. Travis raised his hands, his laugh now forced, shaky. Whoa, it's just a misunderstanding, man." The dog got a little excited, that's all. But the crowd wasn't having it. "You let it go on purpose," a man shouted. "Arrest him," another voice demanded. Travis glanced around, suddenly realizing he had lost control of the situation. The very audience he had played for was now against him. Then came the cold metallic sound, the click of handcuffs. One of the officers yanked Travis's arms behind his back, securing the cuffs around his wrists. "Travis Walker," the officer said firmly, "you're under arrest for public endangerment and assault on a Royal Guard." The crowd erupted in applause. Lieutenant Carter, his breathing steady, his posture never broken, took a single measured step back to his position. And as Travis was dragged away, his protests drowning under the sound of the cheering crowd, one thing was clear. His little stunt had just cost him everything. As the officers dragged Travis Walker away, the crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing across Buckingham Palace. Phones were still raised, capturing every second of his downfall. Just minutes ago, he had been the center of attention, laughing, taunting, and craving the spotlight. Now, he was being hauled off in handcuffs, his smirk completely gone, replaced with panic. "Come on, man. It was just a joke," he shouted, twisting in the officer's grip. But no one was laughing now. The same crowd that had once watched with curiosity now looked at him with disdain. His bull terrier, restrained by security, whimpered slightly, its aggression gone. It hadn't attacked on its own, it had simply followed the reckless lead of its owner. But now, Travis was alone. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Daniel Carter stood exactly as he had before, unshaken, composed, a true professional. The blood soaking into his boot from the bite wound was the only sign of what had happened, but his expression never wavered. There was no anger, no triumph, just the calm discipline of a soldier who had seen it all before. The moment had passed, but its impact was just beginning. Within minutes, the video flooded social media, spreading like wildfire. Tourists had captured every moment, from Travis's mockery, to the dog's attack, to the instant takedown by security. News outlets were quick to pick up the story, and soon headlines flashed across screens worldwide. Loudspeaker: American tourist lets dog attack Royal Guard, instantly regrets it. Loudspeaker: man mocks Buckingham Palace guards, ends up in handcuffs. Loudspeaker: disrespecting tradition? Not on their watch. The internet was ruthless. Millions watched. Thousands commented. Speech balloon: this guy thought he was the main character. Now he's the punchline. Speech balloon: Lieutenant Carter didn't just win. He didn't even need to try. Speech balloon: 8 months in jail? Good. Maybe he'll learn some respect. Travis had wanted attention. Now, he was getting more than he ever bargained for. As he sat handcuffed in the back of a police car, staring out the window, the reality of his mistake sank in. His charges weren't minor: public endangerment, reckless behavior, an assault on a royal guard. There would be no easy way out. He had mocked an institution that had stood for centuries, and now he was paying the price. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Carter's reputation soared. Though injured, he remained a symbol of discipline and professionalism. As he was escorted for medical attention, tourists nodded at him in admiration, some even whispering words of gratitude. And when he returned to duty days later, the crowd outside Buckingham Palace greeted him with applause. And Travis? He was just another cautionary tale, a reminder of what happens when arrogance collides with tradition. What do you think? Did Travis get what he deserved, or do you think the punishment was too harsh? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you ever dare to mess with a royal guard, or do you respect the discipline they uphold? Let's hear your opinions. And if you were in the crowd that day, how would you have reacted? Would you have stepped in, or just watched it unfold? Let's talk about it.